Ya lai 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 lai. You have to turn your mic on now. Is he gonna talk from up here? Is he gonna talk from? Is he gonna talk from in here? I don't think I checked those batteries. I think it's okay. I didn't change those batteries. Hold on one second. You get to sing some things.
Should I sing something?
Yeah, do a little Yadadai. Second.
הנה אנוכי שולח לכם את אליהו הנביא לפני בוא יום השם הגדול והנורא והשיב לבבוס הבנים ולפנים על אבוסם והשיב לבבוס הבנים ולפנים על אבוסם הנה אנוכי שולח לכם
Test 1, test 2.
את אליהו הנביא לפני בוא יום השם הגדול והנורא והשיב לבבוס הבנים ולבנים על אבוסם והשיב לבבוס הבנים ולבנים על אבוסם Good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining us here at Adath Israel Congregation in Cincinnati, Ohio. We're delighted to join with you as we enter into Kol Nidre together this evening. Here we are, again using Machzor Lev Shalem, and we begin this evening on page 204, page 204 in the Machzor, and we thank you so much for joining us these high holy days. Even though maybe physically we're apart from one another, I feel close with you, and I feel like they've been just a little bit of a touch of home, a little bit of a taste of home, and I hope that that we, through our prayers all together, will bring uplift for all of us. We continue now with Kol Nidre. We begin in the middle of the page with Or Zarua. Mitch is going to go ahead and open the ark at this time. And if you're at home, go ahead, please join us. We can all rise at this point. Mitch will continue now, page 204 in the middle.
La Tzadik U Yisrael Simcha Or Zoa La Tzadik U Yisrael Simcha Or Zoa La Tzadik U Yisrael Simcha Or Zoa La Tzadik U Yisrael לשמחה עוז רוח לצדיק וישרה לשמחה עוז רוח לצדיק וישרה לשמחה בשיבה של מלאך ובשיבה של מטה על דעת המקום ועל דעת הקהל אנו מתירים והתפלל עם העבריינים בשיבה של מלאך ובישיבה של מטה על דעת המקום ועל דעת הקהל אנו מתירים והתפלל עם העבריינים בשיבה של מלאך ובישיבה של מטה על דעת המקום ועל דעת הקהל אנו מתירים להתפלל עם העבריינים
Page 205.
Nidre vesorei vechoromei vekonamei vechinuyei Vana Odea Harimna
Vedia Sana Nafshatana
Tindarna Odei V'tiasarna
Al Nafshatana
Yom Kippurim Betelinum voltali. Nidre וקונומי וכינויי ושבועות ודאשתבנה ודאחרינה דינדרנה ודאשתבנה ותיעתנה מיום כיפורים זה יום כיפורים kon karatna Yom Sharon Betelin Voltalin Nidre la Nidre Ushbuatana Ushbuatana Lo Shavut ונסלח לכל עדת בני ישראל ולגר הגר בתוכם כי לכל העם בשגגה ונסלח לכל עדת בני ישראל ולגר הגר בתוכם כי לכל העם בשגגה ונסלח לכל עדת בני ישראל ולגר הגר בתוכם כי לכל העם פשגגם. סלח נא לעוון העם הזה כגודל חסדך, וכאשר נשאת לעם הזה ממצרים ויד היבנה, ושם נאמר. ויאמר אדוני סלחתי כדבריך, ויאמר אדוני סלחתי כדבריך, ויאמר אדוני סלחתי כדבריך. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, שהחיינו וקיימנו והגיענו לזמן הזה, שהחיינו וקיימנו והגיענו לזמן הזה, שהחיינו וקיימנו והגיענו לזמן הזה. Amen.
At this time, we'll pause for a moment. We're going to turn to page 207, and at this time, the Torahs will be set down and the ark will be closed. We continue now as we enter into the evening service, page 207, with the call to worship, Baruch Hu.
Baruch Hu, Baruch Hu, et Adonai, Hamvorach, Hamvorach, Baruch Adonai, Hamvorach, Leolam Vaed. Umavir Yom Vein Laila, Umavdil Ben Yom Vein Laila, Adonai Tzvaot Shemo, El Chai V'Kayam, Tamid Yimloch Aleinu Leolam Vaed. Baruch Atah Adonai.
Baruch Hu Ve'hu Shemo.
Amariv, Aravim,
We turn now to page 208. As we turn now to page 208, we are reminded that the essence of Torah is love. First, God shows God's love to us by giving us Torah, and that is the essence of this first blessing, Ahavat Olam, with an eternal love. God loves us. And then we recite the Shema, where we speak of God's oneness. And on this day, not only do we recite the line of Shema, but we recite the next line, Baruch Shem, Kavod Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed. That is followed by the V'ahavta, speaking about our love for God, demonstrating our love through the way that we live our life, demonstrated through deeds. We continue page 208 with Ahavat Olam.
Ki heim chayenu, v'yorech yameinu, uvahem nege yomam v'layla, v'avatcha tasir mimenu leolamim, Baruch atah Adonai.
Baruch Hu Shemo.
Ohev Amo Yisrael. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Baruch Shem Kevod, Malchuto Le'olam, Le'olam Va'ed. V'yavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavcha v'chol nafshecha v'chol me'odecha v'hayu advarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavcha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam v'shibtecha b'beitecha uvlechtecha b'derech uv'shofbecha uv'kumecha uv'shartam leot al yadecha v'hayu letotachot b'neinecha uv'chavtam al mizot beitecha uv'isharecha l'hayim shamoah tishmeish mitzvotah. Adonai Elohechem emet, emet. Umalchuto b'ratzon kiblu aleihem Moshe u'Miriam uvnei Yisrael lechanu shira b'simcha rabba ve'emru chulam mi chamocha b'elim Adonai mi chamocha nedar b'kodesh Nora tehilot osei fele Malchutecha ra'uvanecha בוקע ים לפני משה, זה לי ענו ואמרו, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. ונאמר, כי פדה אדוני את יעקב, וגלו מיד חזק ממנו, ברוך אתה אדוני.
Baruch Hu Beru Shema.
Gal Yisrael.
Amen.
We continue now as the choir leads us in Hashkivenu, page 211.
Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu L'shalom. Ve'amidenu malkeinu L'chaim, l'chaim. Aleinu Sukkot Shlomecha. V'takneinu b'eitza tova milfanecha. Ve'oshienu leman shemecha.
V'tzel kenafecha tastireinu ki el shomreinu umatzileinu ki el shomreinu umatzileinu Tzeiteinu vo'einu lechaim u'shalom me'ata v'ad olam ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha baruch ata Adonai Haporei
Yasher Koch. Beautiful, beautiful Hashkivenu. We now rise as we turn to page 212, the second paragraph, Ki Vayom Hazeh.
כי ביום הזה יכפר עליכם לטהר, לטהר, לטהר אתכם מכל חטאותיכם לפני אדוני תתעוררו. Titeho, Titeho.
We continue with Chatzi Kaddish, and after reciting Chatzi Kaddish, we'll continue with the quiet Amidah, beginning on page 213. Page 213 and continuing through 221. Now, Chatzi Kaddish.
Yitkadar v'yikadash shmei Rabbah v'yalma divra kirutei v'yamlich malchutei b'chayechon uv'yomechon uv'chayei l'chol beit Yisrael Bagalav uzman karif v'yimaru amen Yeh shemei Rabbah mevarach le'olam olamei almaya yitbarach v'yishtabach V'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalol shemei d'kudusha berichu le'ela le'ela mikol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata Damiran mi'alma ay 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 v'yimru amen amen.
We continue now as we turn to page 223, where the choir will lead us in Ya'aleh. We now turn, as we continue over Zoom, as Fran reads On This Night of Atonement from Machzor Chadash. Thank you, Fran.
O God of forgiveness, on this night of atonement, we come before you, haunted by memories of duties unperformed, of promptings disobeyed, of beckonings ignored. We confess that there were opportunities for kindness and service which we allowed to pass by in the year just ended. We are ashamed of the sins committed with evil intent, as well as of follies committed unwittingly or even with good intentions. Make us honest enough to recognize our transgressions, big enough to admit them, strong enough to forsake them. Humble us by showing us what we are. Exalt us with a vision of what we may yet grow to be. Keep us ever mindful of our dependence upon you and help us to understand your need of us. United with you in a holy partnership, may we dedicate our lives to your law of love. Help us to create homes filled with joy and harmony and to labor for peace among communities and nations. On this sacred night, grant us atonement and help us to find serenity within ourselves. Kindle within us the fires of faith and set aglow our courage to live the words we pray.
Thank you so much, Fran. We continue now as we turn to page 224, beginning with the fourth line on the page with L'chuna Ranana as the choir leads us.
Asher biyado nefesh kol chai veruach kol besari kol besar veruach kol besar veruach kol besari הנשם אלך והגוף שלך עשה למען 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 שמך אדוני וסלקת לעווננו רב הוא.
Yasher Koach. Beautiful. We continue now, page 226, the middle of the page, as we continue with the 13 attributes, stressing that God is Rachum v'Chanun, Erech Hapayim Rav Chesed v'Emet. God is filled with compassion and grace, long-standing with tremendous kindness. Page 226 in the middle.
Adonai, Adonai, El Rachum v'Chanun, Erech Hapayim v'Rav Chesed v'Emet, Nogzer Chesed la'alafim, Nosei Avon v'Fesha v'Chata v'Nakeh. וסלקת לעווננו כתותנו נחלתנו סלח לנו אבינו כי חטאנו מחלנו מלכנו כי פשענו כי אתה אדוני טוב וסלח ורב חסד לכל קוראיך.
We now continue on page 227 with Kinei Kachomer Biad Hayotzer, and we continue both over Zoom with Shana and with Mitch.
Kehine kachomer biyad hayotzer bitzoto machi bitzoto merkatzer kein anachnu biyadcha chesed notzer la brit habeit ve'al tefen la yetzer kehine Ka'even biad hamitzatet Birtzoto ches Uvirtzoto mechatet Kein anachnu biadcha Mechaye umote omemotet La brit habeit ve'al tefen la yetzer Kehine kagarzen biyad hecharash Birtzoto dibeklor Uvirtzoto peirash Kein anachnu biyadcha Tomech ani verash La brit habeit ve'al tefen la yetzer
Kehine kahege biyad hamalach Birtzoto oches uvirtzoto shilach Kein anachnu biyadcha el tov v'salah la brit habeit ve'al tefen la yetzer Kehine kaskuchi biyad hamzageg Birtzoto hageg uvirtzoto mimogeg Kein anachnu biyadcha mochel zadon v'shegeg La brit habeit ve'al tefen la yetzer
Kehine kariya biyad harokem Birtzoto mi'asher Birtzoto mi'akem Kein anachnu biyadcha Elkano v'nokem La brit habeit ve'al tefen la yetzer
Kehine kakeseh biyad chosoreit Birtzoto misakzeg uvirtzoto matzareit Kein anachnu biyadcha mamsilin zorteret La brit habeit ve'al tefen
la yetzer
Yasher Koach, we move from this beautiful liturgy speaking about how each of us is unfinished, each of us is in process. What will we be? Who will we become? We move to the next piece on page 228 as the choir sings Hodi'eni. How much time do we have? How much time do we have left to become who we are meant to be? None of us know. We need to act now. 228.
Adonai ki hitzi umidat Yahweh mahi Ede'at mechade'ani Ede'at mechade'ani
Ach, B'Tselem Yerhalech Ish, Ach Hevel Yemayun, Yitzchak V'lo Yeda Mi'osfa.
We turn now to Zoom, where Shana sings the next part of Hodieni.
Die, 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 die.
Shema tefilati Adonai b'shavati Hasina, Hasina el dimati al teherash ki anochi Shema tefilati Adonai b'shavati Hasina, Hasina el dimati kichol avotai. Hashem imeni ve'av liga b'terem. Elefeineni Hashem imeni ve'av liga b'terem.
An incredible Yasher Koach to our amazing choir and to Shana. Beautiful. Sometimes I wonder if the angels don't get a little jealous. We continue now with a reading over Zoom as Chrissy reads on Kol Nidre by Marjorie Schulman of West End Synagogue.
Kol Nidre, standing for the first few notes, that powerful musical plea, sending shivers down my spine, wrapped in a talit. Kol Nidre, only a year ago, goals were set, plenty of time to work things out, to be a better child, sibling, friend, you, person. Kol Nidre, last year I promised to do better at balancing work, family, fun, being present for others and for myself. Kol Nidre, working towards goals, focusing on what truly matters, standing for what is right, fighting injustice without sacrificing perspective and understanding. Kol Nidre, pencils down, folders closed. Time is up for this year. All that remains is to be judged, evaluated, graded on a curve, I hope. Kol Nidre, vows annulled, failures annulled, guilt annulled, released to try again.
Thank you, Chrissy. We now continue as we turn to page 229 for El Melech Yoshev al Kisei Rachamim, God who sits on a throne of compassion, page 229.
El Melech Yoshev al Kisei Rachamim, 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 Mitznaim Basidu, Mochel Avon Ha'amo, Mitznaim Basidu, Mochel Avon Ha'amo, Ma'avir Rishon 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 Ma'avir Rishon 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 Ma'avir Mechila Lechatayim Ufrita Letoshim Osei Tzedakah Timkol B'Savaruach 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 Osei Tzedakah Timkol B'Savaruach
Yasher Koach. We continue as we turn to page 233. We rise at this time for Shema Kolenu, page 233. And after Mitch recites these lines, we repeat.
Yai dai dai yai dai dai yada dai yai 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 yada dai yai dai yai 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 Shema Kolenu Adonai Eloheinu Usrachem Aleinu Vekabel Berachamim Uratzon Et Filateinu
Shema Kolenu Adonai Eloheinu Usrachem Aleinu Vekabel Berachamim Uratzon Et Filateinu
Ashiveinu Adonai Elecha V'lashuva Chadesh Yameinu Kekedem
Ashiveinu Adonai Elechem v'nashuva Chadesh Yameinu Kekedem
Yadadai, 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 Oh, Tashlichenu milfanecha Veruach Kodshecha Veruach Kodshecha Tikach mimenu
Al tashlichenu milfanecha Veruach Kodshecha Al tikach mimeinu
Ay 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 yadadai yadadai ay 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 Oh tashlichenu leitzikna Ki chlot kochenu Ki chlot kochenu Oh Tozveinu
Al tashlichenu leit zikna Ki chlot kochenu Al tazveinu. We continue as we turn to page 234 for Ki Anu Amecha, this beautiful piyut, beautiful poem speaking about regardless of what we've done, we have such a tremendous bond with God, such a tremendous relationship, and it's the relationship that everything is based on. Page 234.
Eloheinu v'Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu Slach lanu Mechal lanu Kaper lanu Ki anu Amecha Ve'ata Eloheinu Anu Vanecha Ve'ata Avinu Anu Avadecha Ve'ata Adoneinu Anu Kalecha Ve'ata Chelkeinu Anu Nachlatecha Ve'ata Guraleinu Anu Zonecha Ve'ata Ro'einu Anu Charmecha Ve'ata Notreinu Anu Volatecha Ve'ata Yotzreinu Anu rayatecha ve'ata dodeinu Anu zegulatecha ve'ata keroveinu Anu amecha ve'ata malkeinu Anu mamirecha ve'ata mamireinu Ay 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 ay
We rise at this time as we turn to page 235 for Ashamnu.
Ay 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 Ashamnu Bagadnu Gazalnu Dibarnu Dofi Ay 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 Hevinu Ve'irshanu Zadnu Chamasnu Tufalnu Sheker Ay 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 Yatsnora Kizavnu Latsnu Maradnu Niatsnu Saranu Avinu Hashanu Saranu Kishinu Ore Ay 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 Rashanu Shichatnu Tiavnu Tainu Titanu
We continue standing as we turn to page 237 for Al Chet.
And this will also be with Shana on Zoom. All chet shechatanu lefanecha b'nos uv'ratzon, ve'al chet chetanu lefanecha be'emutz halev.
And again, Shana will lead us now over Zoom with Mitch.
All chet shechatanu lefanecha b'yetzer hara, ve'al chet shechatanu lefanecha be'odim of lo yodim. Ve'al
kulam Elohai selichot Selach lanu mechal lanu haper lanu Selach lanu mechal lanu haper lanu V'yar kulam Elohai selichot Selach lanu mechal lanu Selach lanu mechal lanu haper lanu
all chet שחטאנו לפניך בככה שוב חזר, ואחרי שחטאנו לפניך בכפת שוחד.
Page 238.
אחרי שחטאנו לפניך בעיניים רמות, ואחרי שחטאנו לפניך בעזות מצח ויום.
ועל כולם אלוהי סליחות, סלח לנו מחל לנו כפר לנו, סלח לנו מחל לנו כפר לנו. ועל כולם אלוהי סליחות, סלח לנו מחל לנו סלח לנו מחל לנו כפר לנו.
אחרי שחטאנו לפניך בפריקיה ורקיעת עול, ואחרי שחטאנו לפניך בפלילות. אחרי שחטאנו לפניך מתשומת יד, ואחרי שחטאנו לפניך ותימהון לבב.
ועל כולם אלוהי סליחות, סלח לנו מחל לנו כפר לנו, סלח לנו מחל לנו כפר לנו. ועל כולם אלוהי סליחות, סלח לנו מחל לנו סלח לנו מחל לנו כפר לנו.
We may be seated at this time. We turn to page 242. Yasher Koach. Beautiful. Page 242. Rachamana with the letter Hey toward the bottom of the page. Rachamana de ane lani hoy rachamana. Rachamana de ane lani hoy rachamana. Rachamana de ane lemaki cheirucha. Hanena, Rachamana dene litvere liba. Hanena, Rachamana dehane la ane hoy Rachamana. Rachamana dehane la ane hoy Rachamana. Rachamana Rachamana chus, Rachamana perok, Rachamana shazev, Rachamana Rachem alan, Hashtabahagala, Uvizman kariv, Rachamana dehane lani hoy Rachamana. Rachamana dehane lehane hoy hanena. We continue now as we turn to page 243 for Avinu Malkeinu. And we may rise.
Avinu Malkeinu, Chonenu Vanenu Avinu Malkeinu Chonenu Vanenu Ki ein banu masin Asei manu Tzedaka v'chesed Asei manu Tzedaka v'chesed Ve'oshienu Avinu Malkeinu Chonenu Vanenu Avinu Malkeinu Chonenu Vanenu Ki ein banu masin Asei manu Tzedaka v'chesed Asei manu Tzedaka v'chesed Ve'oshienu Avinu Malkeinu
Avinu Malkeinu Chatanu Malkeinu Lanu Menachenat Avinu Malkeinu Asei
Avinu Malkeinu Avinu Malkeinu Avinu Malkeinu Chachizurenu B'tshuva Shlema Lefanecha
Avinu Malkeinu Achazinu B'tshuva Shlema Lefanecha
Avinu Malkeinu Shalach Refuah Shlema Lecholei Amecha
Avinu Malkeinu Shalach Refuah Shlema Lecholei Amecha
Avinu Malkeinu Zochrenu B'zikaron Tov Lefanecha
Avinu Malkeinu Zochrenu B'zikaron Tov Lefanecha
Avinu Malkeinu Kotevenu B'Sefer Chaim Tovim
Avinu Malkeinu Kotevenu B'Sefer Chaim Tovim
Avinu Malkeinu Kotevenu B'Sefer Geula V'Yeshua
Avinu Malkeinu Kotevenu B'Sefer Geula V'Yeshua
Avinu Malkeinu Kotevenu B'Sefer Parnasa V'Chalkala
Avinu Malkeinu Kotevenu B'Sefer Parnasa V'Chalkala
Avinu Malkeinu Kotevenu B'Sefer Zechuyot
Avinu Malkeinu Kotevenu B'Sefer Zechuyot
Avinu Malkeinu Kotevenu B'Sefer Slicha U'Mechila
Avinu Malkeinu Kotevenu B'Sefer Slicha U'Mechila
Avinu Malkeinu Atzmach Lanu Shiur
Avinu Malkeinu Sedona Avinu Malkeinu Chonenu Vanenu Avinu Malkeinu Chonenu Vanenu Ki ein banu masim Asei manu Tzedaka v'chesed Asei manu tzedaka v'chesed ve'oshienu Avinu Malkeinu Chonenu Vanenu Avinu Malkeinu Chonenu Vanenu Ki ein banu masim Asei manu Tzedaka v'chesed Asei manu Tzedaka v'chesed Ve'oshienu.
We turn now to page 245. In a moment, we will have words from our president, Josh Lissman, but before we do, the choir will lead us in Kaddish Shalem.
יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה בעלמא דברה חירותי וימליך מלכותי בחייכון וביומכון ובחיי דכל בית ישראל בגולה בזמן קריב ואמרו אמן יהי שמי רבה מבורך לעולם עולמי עולמיה יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי דקודשה לילה ולילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה תושבחתה ונחמתה דמירן ביעלמה תושבחתה ונחמתה דמירן ביעלמה ואמרו יהי שלמה רבה מן שמיה וחיים וחיים עלינו עלינו ועל כל ישראל ויאמרו 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 עושה שלמה רבה במרומיה וחיים עלינו עלינו ועל כל ישראל ויאמרו 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 עושה שלום במרומיו הוא יעשה שלום עלינו עלינו ועל כל ישראל ויאמרו Amen.
Yasher Koach, beautiful, beautiful. Many thanks to our incredible choir and to Mitch and Shayna. Thank you so much. And now we're going to hear words from our president, as I mentioned, and he's standing here in the middle of our sanctuary, and live control will go and focus in on you at this time, Josh. Thank you so much, and we're now good to go. Thank you, Josh.
Shana Tova.
Lashana Tova.
Shana Tova.
I hold in my hands the greatest high holiday appeal president's speech in Adath Israel's long history. This
and
is
Josh,
not meant.
Talk closer to the mic, please. Thanks.
This is not meant as a slight to any of our past presidents. This speech is just that amazing. You see, traditionally, the first term in a president's career during their high holiday appeal, they are dedicated to answering two questions: who they are and why they are standing here. Well, actually back there. I think I'm the first one to stand right here. My who and my why will likely change your life. You will laugh, cry, experience the full range of human emotions. I've actually been writing it for more than a decade, long before I became active here at Adath Israel. In year two, presidents historically talk about the institutions that are Adath Israel. Sometimes it's an update of what's transpired in year one. It's not normally as emotional or riveting, but incredibly valuable for the congregation to hear. In true 2020 form, I'm shelving this amazing speech until next year. In a year full of disappointments, let's add this one to the list. You'll all have to come back next year and hear it face to face, God willing. While I'm sure that you are all devastated you won't hear my who and why this year, I feel that in this crazy year where we are not together in person, It's more important to talk about all of us and what Adath is Israel is doing for you rather than hear my story. Many, many, many years ago, 5 to be exact, Adath started on a journey of self-exploration. After surveys, focus groups, and more meetings than you can count, Imagine Adath was born. We created 4 pillars that would shape the future of our congregation. As we take the time on Yom Kippur to examine our lives, who we are, and what we are doing, it's a great opportunity to also look at where we are as an organization in our imagined journey. For those of you who have not committed them to memory yet, here they are. Pillar number 1, be the kind of synagogue where every congregant works together to make everyone feel unconditionally welcomed, accepted, and at home. Pillar number 2, nurture our community through innovative and dynamic approaches to Jewish life inside and outside the walls of the synagogue. Pillar 3, consistently step forward and speak out to build a just and equitable community for all, rooted in Jewish values and teachings. Pillar 4, cultivate a path to well-being, enabling our congregants to grow spiritually, religiously, and intellectually. So how are we doing? What are we doing? What's the plan? Pillar 1, be warm and welcoming. The first one that we started working on, the one that we've made the most progress on. So far, we changed the new member experience with a new application, direction on staff interaction, welcome baskets, and ways to make sure that new members feel accepted at home. We've also changed lots about the current member experience, including redefining what membership looks like to be more inclusive of all families. Everyone is welcome here. Offering unique Shabbat experiences, now with Zoom and Facebook Live, more to come when we reopen. Training ushers and greeters to be more sensitive and adaptable to all members and guests. A new look for the Kol Kehila, our monthly newsletter, which I'm sure you all read cover to cover. A new coffee station in our lobby. Check it out when we reopen. Shabbat at home, where congregants, new and old, can get to know one another better. A rabbi, Rabbi Smolkin, calling each single family to make sure that you all feel welcome and that you know that he cares about you. Rebecca Skirball Miller has moved religious school online to allow access to all. The school is filled with wonderful teachers and fantastic students. Classes started this morning, but it's never too late to join. And lots more in the works. Pillar 2, nurture our community through innovation and dynamic approaches to Jewish life. I call this pillar Meg. If you hadn't heard, we recently hired Meg Wells to be our Director of Engagement and Congregational Programming. This is the pillar in which she lives, eats, and breathes. Expect lots of new initiatives focusing around all demographics, including intergenerational, singles, empty nesters, remote on location and in-person events, and on lots of new subjects, one of which is exciting new Israel programming. Ride into Rosh Hashanah was her first program. Look for our Drive into Sukkot concert coming soon, and something not involving cars soon after. Pillar 3, social justice. Sandy Kaltman is leading the charge on this pillar. Today's initiative is Mitzvot 100-100. Our goal is to have 100% of our congregation registered to vote, 100% of our congregation voting in this upcoming election. Let me be clear, this is not political. It's not about who you vote for. It's just that you vote. We as Jews, a group that has been historically relegated to second-class citizen status, must take full advantage of having our voices heard. Sandy and her committee will move on after the election to another project or two that we as Jews are compelled to support. Pillar 4, well-being. This pillar is the only one that has benefited from COVID. Since March, the number of virtual programs designed to help us grow spiritually, religiously, and intellectually has exploded. Rabbi Ben, already a teaching machine, has upped his game with many new classes and is bringing back Essentials of Judaism starting next month. This class is a great introduction to Judaism, the conservative movement, and our shul. Plus, we have wonderful new Hebrew classes starting next month. Wake Up with the Rabbis on Facebook has received rave reviews. If you haven't watched, it's a short teaching to inspire and prime our day. Online services allow access for all to join Minyan and Shabbat morning services. Our attendance is way up. Nights when we struggled to get a Minyan in person have seen 20 to 30 people online. Brotherhood series on mental health, which I have dubbed Free Therapy for Brotherhood's Past Presidents, is amazing. This series, which I hope will continue for a long time, helps legitimize all that many of us are feeling right now. Alone, scared for our health, our loved ones' health, our finances, and/or being stressed out. Look for more coming soon with Sisterhood joining the party. In addition to our 4 pillars, I created 9 priorities for the board to work on during my term. I wrote about them in the Kol Kehila back in August, so I'm confident that you can all recite them. Likely you have them posted on your fridge. Unlike the Amida, I will spare you the full repetition, but there are some not specifically called out in the 4 pillars, and I want to address them now. Priority number 1, how do we safely reopen the shul? Dealing with a worldwide pandemic was not on my initial agenda when I started my journey to become president. Nothing in my past experience prepared me for this. Thankfully, we have resources here at Adath Israel that many don't. Our virus response committee, consisting of medical professionals, industry leaders, our own facility manager, Tim Patton, Rabbi Smolkin, Chief Operating Officer Chris Hannon, and chaired by our immediate past president, have done an unbelievable job navigating these murky waters. Special shout out to Dr. Hamilton Lempert, who crafted the living document that will be shared with all of you shortly and provides the guide rails for our reopening. Our first 2 in-person services will be Friday nights in October. Registration will be required, seating will be limited. More details to come, and more services to come. And one day, all of us together, again. My priority number 5, how do we ensure that we are creating tomorrow's leaders? Coupled with my priority number 7, how do we create lasting structures and repeatable procedures? There's a ton of work being done behind the scenes right now. Our board is undergoing training from the USCJ, the United Synagogue of Conservative Judaism, to both change the way our shul is governed and create a true leadership development structure. Under Chris Hannon's leadership, we continue on our journey to professionalize the organization. As many of you know, Chris has spent a lot of time creating new processes to ensure that our operations are world-class. Which brings us to my priority number 2, and the stated purpose of my being here today. How do we ensure the long-term financial health of Adath Israel? This is a longer conversation than we can have today, but here are the highlights. Over the last 2 years, I served as treasurer with one mission: to be able to stand here and tell you that we are great financial stewards of your donations. This is critical, as the largest percentage of revenue comes from dues. What may surprise you is that dues only represent 43% of our budget this year. This is down from 5 years ago when dues represented over 70% of our budget. And in gross dollars, this is even more striking. So why is this happening? A couple of factors are at play, some good, some bad. First, the bad. COVID has impacted us tremendously. We expect to collect $200,000 less this year in dues than last, and we may not hit our target. This is the continuation and acceleration of a downward trend going back a decade. We have also lost a number of very generous congregants over the last couple of years. One moved, sadly, the rest passed away. I also believe that our current dues structure isn't ideal. In some ways, it discourages folks from giving more. It is a priority of mine to effect change to it during my term. We have eliminated every expense dollar that we can find that doesn't directly support our mission or we can no longer afford. We've shrunk our budget by 20% this year alone. That's on top of a 10% reduction last year. Sadly, that meant having to cut many positions, both full and part-time, both folks relatively new to our organization and folks that have been here longer than me. We are mailing less often. We are aggressively shopping every expense. We no longer do things just because we have already and always done them. There are no sacred cows. Every dollar is scrutinized in ways we've never done before. Now for the good news. We are relying on alternate sources of funding more than ever. We have secured generous grants from Jewish Foundation, Jewish Federation, Safe Cincinnati, the Department of Homeland Security, among others. We have enjoyed success in our annual fundraiser, the barbecue. We have rented out our facility to Ollie and others to generate income. Our endowment has grown and continues to grow through generous donors and our Create Your Jewish Legacy program, or CYJL as we call it. CYJL is a wonderful program where you direct your estate to leave a legacy gift to Adath Israel and other local Jewish organizations. If you aren't familiar with CYJL, let's talk. We have made capital improvements to reduce monthly costs. Finally, we have come to rely more on the High Holiday Appeal than ever before. The High Holiday Appeal is special for a couple of reasons. First, it's one of the only times we ask congregants to vote with their dollars. Some view it as a referendum of the performance of the shul over the last year. Some on this very speech. Hopefully you like both. Second, it's one of the most variable components in our budget. A successful campaign can make a year. A disastrous one can be, well, disastrous. Third, I recognize that it can be uncomfortable as a congregant to be asked, especially in a year when every organization is asking for more. Unique to this year is being remote. In past years, a few folks, myself included one year, snuck in the back to avoid Kathy passing out pledge cards. Others conveniently exited the sanctuary when the appeal began. This year, you can press mute. You can leave the room and no one would notice. Heck, you could even take a nap. Maybe you're doing all three right now. This is why we passed out pledge forms during the ride into Rosh Hashanah, why there is a Donate Now button on adathlive.com and on our website, why we've sent emails and basically been a pest. With your generous contribution or pledge today, we can continue our work on our 4 pillars. We can continue to bring you amazing programs, both virtually and in person. We can continue to try new initiatives and keep the beloved, successful old programs going. We can continue and elevate our mission. Every year when we read about the building of the tabernacle in Exodus chapter 36, we see every synagogue's dream in verse 5. And they said to Moses, the people are bringing more than is needed for the tasks entailed in the work that Adonai has commanded to be done. In verse 7, Moses then commands them to stop giving, for their efforts have been more than enough for all the tasks to be done. Which brings me to my favorite Brady Bunch quote, because who doesn't follow up Tanakh with the Brady Bunch? When it's time to change, you've got to rearrange who you are and what you're going to be. In 2020, everything has changed. We are again at a turning point in the 173-year history of our shul. We are poised to grow, to evolve into something more special than ever before. We are more responsive to our congregants' needs, creating more opportunities to be involved with more diverse programming in a time when we are all yearning for connection. Adath Israel is here for you now more than ever. We have 2 rock star full-time rabbis, an amazing school, a choir that has never sounded better, and an organization aligned to support our mission. So who are you? And what are you going to be? Are you going to be like our ancestors in the Bible? Are you going to give so generously that Rabbi, like Moses before him, will command you to stop? Are you going to prioritize your spiritual home and support us? For those of you who have already donated or pledged, thank you. I really appreciate it. I would not, however, turn down a second, third, fourth, or fifth donation. There is no gift too small. I personally have felt weird in years when I didn't have much to give. I assumed that $18 or $36 wouldn't matter. I was wrong. Every dollar counts. There is a Jewish teaching that directs us. We are taught to not give $1 more nor $1 less than we can afford, whatever that amount is. 2 final thoughts. First, for those of you who would like to fund a special initiative or a pet project of yours, or sponsor an existing program or event, please contact me. There are literally hundreds of sponsorships available. Second, it is my wildest hope that this appeal will far outstrip our budget. When that happens, we will take the surplus and start a relief fund. Our congregation, like our community, our country, and the whole world has been affected by COVID-19. We can't immediately fix the world or our country, but we can help those most directly affected here at Adath Israel. This fund will be used to offset dues for those who have had their income decrease this year and to give directly to our congregants in need. The best part of Adath Israel is you. I'm counting on you. Please give what you can so next year I can share my killer speech, my who and why, plus how successful we've been. I genuinely wish you, your family, and all those that you love to be written in the book of life for a year full of health, happiness, prosperity, and all good things. Have a meaningful and easy fast. Shana Tova.
Yasha Koach, Josh. Well said. We continue now with Elenu as we turn to page 246.
Aleinu l'shabeach la'adon ha'kol la'tei gedula li'otzer breshit shelo asanu kegoye haratzot velo samanu kemishpachot hadama shelo sam chelkenu kahem v'gor aleinu kecho hamonam ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא שהוא נוטה שמיים ויוסד הארץ ומושב יקרו בשמיים עמו ושכינתו זו בגלפי מרומים הוא אלוהינו אין עוד אמת מלכנו אפס זולתו ככתוב בתורתו וידעת היום והשבות אל לבבך כי אדוני הוא האלוהים בשמיים עמו והארץ מתחת אין עוד. ככתוב בתורתך אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו echad.
In a moment, we will continue with Mourner's Kaddish, found on page 247. Before we do, we remember those who have yahrzeits on this day. Helene Cohen, Samuel Cutler, Samuel Litwack, Isabel Myers, Bill Neustadt, Sarah Plotkin, Marvin Ritter, Abraham Schlesselberg, Dora Wayne, and Saul Weisenberg. We also at this time remember those who have yahrzeits tomorrow and whose yahrzeits begin this evening. Lillian Ackerman, Chasia Boymel, Malka Boymel, Rachel Boymel, Razel Boymel, Zelig Boymel, Sarah Engelberg, Eva Goret, Betty Greenstein, Baruch Greenstein, Coleman Greenstein, Rachel Greenstein, Menucha Chazen, Moshe Chazen, Noah Chazen, Raymond Kahn, Hamir Katie, Sarah Rich Schaefer, Koshever, Dina Pastor, Bernard Pensack, Zelig Perkel, Samuel Russell, Bertha Reisenfeld, Abraham Rich, Pearl Rich, Joseph Stein, Josephine Sternweiler, and Roy Whitman. We'll pause for a moment. If there are other names to add, please go ahead and do so at this time. We continue now with Mourner's Kaddish, page 247. Yitgadal v'yitgadash shemei rabbah.
Amen.
V'alma divrach erutei v'yamlich malchutei. V'chayechon v'yumechon v'chayei dechol beit Yisrael. Ba'galau v'zman kari v'imru. Amen.
Amen.
Yehei shmei rabbah mevarach le'olam almel maya. Yit barach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnasei. V'yithadar v'yitale v'yitalal shemei dekudisha charechu. La'ela la'ela mikol birchata v'shirata tush bechata v'nechamata damiran mi'alma v'imru. Amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. Aseh shalom b'imromav hu yaseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. We now turn to page 248 for Trust in the Lord.
The Lord is my light and my help. Whom shall I fear?
The Lord is the strength of my life. Whom shall I dread?
Shema Adonai Kali, Shema Adonai
Beautiful. Yasher Koach. We now continue with a few brief but uplifting announcements brought to you by our president, again, who's in the middle of our sanctuary to give us these uplifting announcements.
Shana Tova again, long time no see. Thank you to Rabbi Smolkin, Zoom Master Rabbi Shadel, Chazan Mitch, soloist Shana, and Adath Israel's amazing choir for a beautiful service tonight. And thank you all for tuning in, and for some for staying up this late. Join us here tomorrow morning for our wonderful Yom Kippur services. The morning service begins at 8:30. Torah service starts at 10 a.m., followed by Yisker around 11, and concluding with Musaf. Afternoon services kick off at 5 and Nila at 6:30. You can access services the same way you did tonight via adathlive.com, Facebook, our YouTube channel, or you can dial in. We have many family services and experiences throughout the day tomorrow. For young families, to kids, to teens, and intergenerational. Check your email or our websites for details on how to log in. Registration is now open for the classes I mentioned earlier. Our Hebrew classes and Essentials of Judaism. They're open to all. We have some great Sukkot programs coming up, including an in-person concert and an interactive virtual party with the Torah for Simchat Torah. Please check your email or contact the synagogue office for more details. Shana Tova.
Shana Tova, and thank you so much. We continue now as we turn to page 249 for Adon Olam.
Thank you, Rabbi. The translation for Adon Olam is a bit mind-bending for me because it talks about time and space. And this particular tune sort of brings it back down to earth a little bit. And also, when things are going rough, have people having a rough time, this reminds us that we do have blessings everywhere.
Amen.
I see skies of blue and clouds of white, the bright blessed day, the dark sacred night, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Adon Olam Hashem Malach B'terem Kol Yitzir Nivra Li'ed Nasa B'chev Sokol Azai Melech Shemo Nikra V'acharei Kichlod HaKol Levado Yimloch Nora V'hu haya V'hu hoveh V'hu yeh B'tifara V'hu echad V'yein sheni Lehamshilo Lehachbira Beli Reshit Beli Tachlit Velo Haos V'hamisra V'hu Eli V'chai Goali V'tzor Chevli Beit Sarah V'hu nisi umanosli minad kosi biyom ekra biyado afkid ruchi biyed ishan v'yayira v'im ruchi givi Ati Adonai li velo ira Adon olam Hashem alach beterem kol Yitzir nivra Yai dai dai Yai dai dai Yai yai Yai
Yasher Koach Mitch, really want to thank you so much, and thank you to Shana as well. Many thanks to our outstanding choir and to Emily Cohen, who helped to bring the choir together virtually. Thank you to Rabbi Che Dal and to Josh for your powerful and important words for our synagogue. Thank you to Fran and Chrissy for your beautiful English readings. And thank all of you for joining us this evening so we could come together as a congregation in prayer on this Yom Kippur day. We look forward to continuing Yom Kippur with you tomorrow. I wish everyone a meaningful Yom Kippur and the blessings of health, a year of increased sweetness, and as always, praying for peace, praying for shalom. We conclude this evening with our choir singing Oseh Shalom.
Oseh Shalom Bimroma Uyaseh Shalom Aleinu Ve'akol Yisrael Ve'yimeru Amen. Oseh Shalom Bimroma Uyaseh Shalom Aleinu Ve'akol Ve'akol Yisrael Ve'yimeru Amen. Oseh Shalom Bimroma Uyaseh Shalom Aleinu Ve'akol Ve'akol Yisrael Ve'yimeru Amen.
Laila Tov, everyone. Shalom.
Shana Tova.
Shana Tova.